Thunderbolts just dropped, and no, it didn't explode onto the scene. It flat out face planted. Okay, now Thunderbolts is already getting spun by the media as a success, but anyone with eyes can see that it's a disaster, plain and simple. Now, Thunderbolts was supposed to revive the MCU, but instead it's exposing just how far Marvel has fallen. Okay, now Thunderbolts isn't a comeback, it's a meltdown in real time. And right on cue, the excess media starts spinning. You see, Thunderbolts beat expectations, they say. And they're also saying things like Thunderbolts assembles a powerful debut. Now, these people, these hacks, as I call them, do the same thing every single time. You see, first, they gaslight you with this phony hype where they say this movie is the best Marvel film since Endgame. Thunderbolts is a triumphant return to form. Thunderbolts is bold, brave, and brilliant. Then the numbers drop. And when the numbers are trash, the media does this sleazy pivot and they pretend that they never hyped it up in the first place. And then they start asking, what went wrong with this movie? They've always done this and stuff, even with Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania. They know what went wrong. Everyone knows what went wrong. You can't lie to the audience forever. And yeah, sure, it did surpass the latest projections by a couple million, but let's not ignore that these projections have been, basically deliberately lowered at the last minute, okay? A few weeks ago, you see, Thunderbolts was tracking at, $85 million to $90 million and stuff, and then they quietly dropped it down to $70 to $75 million right before release so they could play this little PR game. Look, it exceeded expectations. No, we see the trick. You can't polish a turd, and Thunderbolts is a whole turd. The whole thing reeks of desperation, just like Captain America: Brave New World, which they tried to plant as, to paint as a win, despite its mediocre $88 million opening and a slow crawl to just $400 million worldwide. Now, this movie poured in $76 million domestically and another $86 million internationally. That's a total of $162 million globally, right in line with the Eternals, okay, which everyone admitted was a flop, all right? And that's with, Florence Pugh front and center, a cast packed with, a lot of familiar names and a massive marketing blitz. $180 million movie production cost plus an estimated $100 million in marketing. You're looking at $280 million spent. You need at least double that in box office revenue to even break even. And this movie needs somewhere between $560 to $600 million to get out of the red. And right now, that ain't happening. But let me say that again. This movie needs to make $560 million just to go ahead and break even. Not to be a success, just not to be a financial disaster. And at this rate, it might not even match the pathetic performance of Brave New World. Now, overseas, this movie already underperformed in over 50 markets. Less than Eternals, less than Quantum Flop Mania, less than Black Widow. And remember, Black Widow was released during the pandemic, okay? Now, that's how bad this movie is doing, and yet here comes, the media again with the cope, It's the best non-sequel, post-COVID, female-led summer-starting movie in July on an even-numbered year. Y'all can just shut up with that mess, because that's just getting old at this point. But just admit it. As I said it before, Marvel is cooked. The magic is gone. No one cares about these second string D-list characters and stuff. You see, Thunderbolts, which doesn't even have Thunderbolt Ross, by the way, is a random collection of nobodies, sidekicks, and leftovers from better movies thrown together in a plot that no one asked for. Now, you'd also think audiences are going to line up for a movie that can't even decide who's the main character and stuff. They sound like Bucky Barnes, literally the only reason anyone even cared about this movie project in the first place. Instead, they gave us a team up of angsty, sad, emotionally unstable weirdos trying to hug it out, okay? That's not a superhero movie. It's just a therapy session, okay? Now, look, I'm not saying that, Brave New World was any better, but that movie was just simply insufferable in its own way. but at least it had a central character to follow. I mean, Thunderbolts didn't even try that. The final act is one of the cringiest things that I've ever seen and stuff, where the villain isn't defeated through, action or growth. It's defeated through hugs and speeches about how everyone's feelings matters, okay? What it's basically a Marvel movie, or I'm not sure if it's a Marvel movie or a high school guidance counselor seminar, but the audience isn't buying it. And that's why Thunderbolts is collapsing like this. You see, the MCU has become an emotional support group in spandex, basically. And don't even try to blame, the audience either. You see, the Marvel shields are already out there pointing fingers, calling fans toxic, or blaming the algorithm, or matter of fact, I'm getting called hater, as a matter of fact, by some people here. And they're also blaming superhero fatigue. Now, there's no superhero fatigue, there's garbage fatigue. You see, people are tired of paying $15 a ticket to go ahead and sit through tone-deaf nonsense about how strong and empowered everyone is, while the stories suck and the characters are cardboard cutouts. I mean, it isn't failing because, people hate Marvel. This movie is failing because Marvel forgot how to entertain people. I mean, it's simple as that. End of story. But the backlash is still coming in hot. Okay, everywhere you look, even normies are starting to wake up. You see, you scroll through sites like Reddit, YouTube, social media, it's a big meltdown. The few people defending this movie sound like they're on autopilot, basically. You're just mad it's not like the old Marvel. You're just a hater because the old Marvel was good. This new Marvel is a parade of forced diversity, limp storylines, and characters that no one asked for. Thunderbolts is the result of years of mismanagement and creative rot under Kevin Feige, not Ike Perlmutter. It's not just a flop, it's a symptom of a much bigger problem. You see, Thunderbolts is what happens when the studio stops listening to its fans. You see, when they think brand loyalty will carry them through anything, when they believe they can slap the word Marvel on a poster and people will show up no matter what. But that era is over. The trust is gone. The goodwill is gone. You see, you burned it to the ground and you can't keep delivering these lifeless, formulaic, politically charged, creatively bankrupt projects and expect people to cheer. Now, people are voting with their wallets still, and Thunderbolts is getting absolutely destroyed. Okay, but gotta be real about this also. You see, I'll be honest with y'all. Marvel's future looks bleak. I don't want it to be that way. Deadpool 3 might get a boost, but it's a legacy character carried by a pre-existing fan base, and along with Wolverine. After that, you've got a mess of delays, recasts, half-baked sequels no one's asking for. This movie was supposed to be it's supposed to kick off summer with a bang, but instead it limped into theaters and face planted. And just like Brave New World, the headlines will shift from MCU back on top to what went wrong within a few weeks. It's just the same song over and over again, okay? But my question is, so despite all of this and stuff, I mean, what's actually going on? Now, I'm be honest with y'all. I was surprised about like within the fandom itself, like it's mixed reactions. Some people love it, some people hate it. Okay, but it's like it's a toss up for some, but for others, no. But I got even a bigger question in all of this. Where in the world is Kevin Feige in all of this? Hiding as usual, no accountability, no course correction, just smug silence while everything falls apart. Thunderbolts is not just a flop, it's a warning basically. A siren blaring in the distance that no Marvel is in serious trouble. If you can't make money off of a star-studded ensemble film in a franchise this massive, you've got real problems. And it's not just a one-off, it's a pattern. Now, Thunderbolts is the latest in a string of L's for the MCU, and they're not even slowing down. Now, even if Thunderbolts has slightly better legs than Brave New World, slightly, it's not going to be enough. You see, best case scenario, it claws its way to $420 million and still loses money. That's the best case scenario. More likely, it filters out, around $380 to $400 million globally and becomes yet another black mark on Marvel's track record. And again, the media will scramble to find a positive spin, but by then, everyone will have moved on. And this movie would disappear like the Eternals, like the Marvels, like Quantumania, okay? And sadly, we're at the point where this movie is competing with the worst Marvel has to offer. That's not success. That's humiliation. Now, you spend $280 million on a movie and can't even get close to breaking even. That's a studio failure. And yet these clowns will still act like it's some kind of, moral victory. Well, it beat projections. Who cares? It's still bombed. Beating artificially lowered projections is not a win. It's a participation trophy. Now, Marvel needs to wake up. The fans are done. Thunderbolts isn't the exception. It's the rule now. This is what Marvel is. This is what they've become. A once great franchise now coughing up, soulless slop that no one wants to see. People used to celebrate new Marvel movies, and now they just simply roll their eyes. Thunderbolts was supposed to bring back the excitement, but instead, it exploded on impact and not in a good way. So, yeah, basically, another Marvel meltdown right here. Another failed box office. Another round of excuses from the lame legacy media. Another pointless sequel to nothing. You see, Thunderbolts had every chance to turn things around, and they blew it. Because Marvel still refuses to listen, still refuses to course correct, still refuses to give fans what they want. And until that changes, this nightmare dressed up in Thunderbolts is going to keep repeating itself over and over and over. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Be sure to smash the like button if you enjoyed what was shared in this video. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell for future notifications. And I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, peace.